All right. Hey guys. So it's uh it's about 4:15 in the morning. I'm doing some things and I decided to come at you guys with a little bit of a story time. And it was this one time I almost was able to have sex, but I rejected her offer and I'm glad I did. So, basically, this is about, you know, 9 years ago, about 9 years ago now. Uh I met this one girl at the club and stuff, and it come to find out she ended up she went on to work where I worked at 9 years ago, which is like a weird coincidence. But that's kind of how this started. We met at the club, and then we ended up, we I saw her like 2 weeks later at my job. I'm like, oh hey, you're that person. Oh yeah, I'm working here. I'm like, oh okay. So basically we begin talking, and we begin, just talking about random stuff, and we even went to the local arcade. We went to the local arcade in my city. This is a while ago, almost 10 years ago, and the arcade's gone now, and I'm sorry about that because that was a cool arcade. But anyway, so playing video games and stuff, we kind of got closer about, hey, why don't you come over to my house, that type of level. And basically, I went over her house, and she there was a couple of red flags. So one, she had a lot of toys in her room. Now, obviously, 9, 10 years ago, um, I was a bit more hip to what was going on. I figure she probably has a kid 'cause she was a cute girl, like always. They're always cute, but I was wondering if she had a kid, and but it wasn't my place to just ask her straight up at, like, the first time I come over her house. Hey, you got a kid? I'm not gonna do that. That's kind of rude. I was gonna wait maybe second or third time I went over there, and she went over my house. She went over my house, or place where I was living at. I was living with my parents and stuff, and blah blah blah. We was playing video games, looking at manga, anime, whatever. Well, um, she wanted to get close to me. Now, I don't like it when girls want to get close to me. Typically, I get kind of paranoid and kind of, I don't know if it's scared, but it's something. There's something going on in my psyche when girls get close to me. I get paranoid. I think of germs and AIDS and stuff, and I'm like, well, she got AIDS, and that's because that's a real thing. And I was uncomfortable, so I kind of pulled back. She said, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, yeah, I don't like it when people get close to me, like touchy feely stuff. I mean, like, I don't mind after, like, 9 months, but I don't. I can't take the risk. And if you're really that interested, if you really care about me, we can get tested. And she was like, "Oh yeah, sure. Let's get tested. Let's go to a clinic sometime." I said, "No, let's go right now. Both off at our job. I know exactly where you work at. We can just go down the street to the clinic from our job and get tested. I'll pay for everything. I want this done immediately, and I want us to both get tested in front of each other." And the look on her face was like, "What? Like, you're actually, like, adamant about this?" And I don't understand why people tend to, why people get offended when you say, "Hey, let's go to the clinic, let's get tested in front of each other, let's drive right now, let's get directions, see when they close, they're open right now, let's go right now, right now." People get really mad. People, I mean, get mad. I've noticed that. I've done that with a few people. Like, hey, if we're gonna do this, something, we need to get tested like today in front of each other, and we need to see our results. Like, print them out. I need to see a picture of it, a documentation. I want it in printing right there, right there. They don't like that. People don't like that. And I'm like, why? It's the most responsible and the most mature thing to do. Very mature. And not only that, it proves that you respect the person. These people out here don't have any respect. They really don't. But anyway, as I digress, she was like, "Yeah, sure, let's do that next week." I said, "Are you sure? You promise we're gonna do something next week. You promise we're gonna, we're gonna get this dealt with. Because if not, I can't really hang with you." That's another thing. If you are interested in me, and if you don't want to get tested, I don't want to hang out with you. You will get mad. And they're like, dang. I'm like, yes. Yeah, it's that real out here. I don't, especially now. This was 9, 10, 11 years ago. I'm not. This is back then. I didn't play back then. I just didn't play. Or I didn't play about that back then. I'm not one of those guys like, man, it's gonna put some skin, baby. No, mm-mm. No, no. It's too real. It's too grim. It's too bleak. It's too dark. There is nothing out here but death and sorrow. Misery loves company. And I take that to heart. I take that very seriously. So when I told her, if we do not get tested next week, then I'm not going to want to be around you. And I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to, tell people at our job what's going on. It's none of no one's business but our own. And with that, with that, that'll be it. And don't talk to me again. And I was very serious about it. So she said, okay, all right. She knew this was a she knew I wasn't gonna budge. And I put my foot down. All right. And so a week went by. Um, she was sick. Okay. She didn't feel good. And I'm like, okay, like, why don't you feel good? Like it's summer. Why you got the flu during the summer? It's weird. So I was talking to people at my job. We were just talking about Pokemon or whatever, some dumb stuff, nerd stuff, because I'm a nerd. And I heard, some guy yelling on the phone and saying, "You burn me and F you and all this stuff." And I'm like, oh man, because, at this particular job, some people got into relationships with each other. Um, Not me, because girls think I'm lame, but, you know, uh, people often, dated and stuff, and it was kind of a relaxed place, and that was okay with people. They didn't really care that much as long as you didn't bring drama when you clocked in. You can do whatever you want as long as you didn't bring drama when you clocked in around other clients. So, not really a good idea, but whatever. That has some problems. And you know, uh I ran to the, men's restroom because I was hearing all this commotion and yelling. I thought there was a fight, that anything could have happened. So I ran in there saying, "Hey, what's going on? Everyone okay?" Because people were getting concerned. The yelling was so loud the clients were hearing it, And I'm like, dude, what's going on? She said, and he said, such and such burned me. Now, such and such, this is what we're going to call her, such and such, um, that's the person I was talking to. And I sat there and I told her, hey, we need to get tested. We need to get tested. We need to take things slow. We need to get tested. And if you don't do it within a week, if we don't go to the clinic together, then I don't want nothing to do with you. And yeah, I want nothing to do with you. And it was the same girl. So apparently she had herpes and gonorrhea. She had herpes and gonorrhea. And oh boy. And basically, she was out there. Okay, well, fine. You can't stop that. But the thing is, though, is that she was kind of not protecting herself, and she just kind of reckless. She had one of those birth control things they put in you so you don't get pregnant, and she was just kind of like using that as a free pass. And the guy slept with her like 3 weeks prior to us meeting at the club, and so I was talking to him. He was crying. He had a nervous breakdown, and he was messed up and stuff. And I didn't want to touch him, but anyway, so they met a week prior to us to me and her seeing each other at the club. 3 weeks, they slept with each other. Had a one night stand. Then, like a week or two later, he was having problems. It lay dormant. He was having some problems. That's what he told me. That's what he told me. And then basically, um, he was trying to find her. He was trying to find her throughout the city and trying to like, find her throughout the city, trying to look her up on social media and stuff. And then when she got hired, she didn't know he first of all, she didn't know that he worked there. It was a luck of the draw. And then I didn't know what she had and what they had prior. That was a luck of the draw. And then all three of us worked at the same place. That was a luck of the draw for the third time. So we knew who she was. It was our coworker. We knew who she was. So the whole staff knew. So she, she didn't lose her job. She just quit. She just quit. She only stayed like 2.5 weeks. She put in a 2 week notice and just kind of had her head down. She got one check and she was out of there. She was out of there. And I dodged a big bullet. I dodged two big bullets. One shot, two shot. I dodged two bullets. And once again, this is a very important lesson. If you guys out there who are listening are ready to do the deed, get tested that day, drag her or him into that clinic, sit there and look at them, and get tested and look at them. And then when that results show up on your phone or phone call and stuff, um, when it shows up, you stare at their phone. You look at their phone. I don't care. Oh, well, this is my bit. No, it's our business. It's our business. It's my business. It's my life. It's my health. And you sit there and you get on them about that until they do it because people are not disclosing and people don't care. And you know what? I think there needs to be a registry, like a sex offender registry, but for STDs. Where there's a database where you can search up anyone's name, see if they got something. Because it's getting too crazy out here, and people want to. The clinic wants to make people say what they have, disclose their information in good faith. And you know what? It ain't working because people ain't never safe. People ain't never honest. People are not honest. I've learned that. So protect yourselves. Be careful. I dodged two big bullets. And because I had a moral compass, and because I stood firm, and because I knew that having sex really wasn't going to change my life, it was going to be 5 minutes of pleasure, and that's it. Now I got to worry about the morning after, and that is scary. I'm gonna tell you something before I get off this video. I'd rather be a 40-year-old virgin with no girlfriend and barely can hold a hand with a girl than to have all the women in the world and have HIV or herpes. I'd rather live the life I'm living now as a lame, girls overlook me, being a quote unquote Steve Urkel, a loser, a nice guy. I'd rather be all that than to have to take H prep for the rest of my life because I'm scared out of my mind. You don't want that smoke. And I don't have that smoke. I don't have that. I don't have those issues. So, um, yeah, yeah, that's it. Okay, bye guys.